Welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. I'm John Schmelk. Thrilled to be joined today by Giants safety Jevón Holland. Jevón, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Nothing much. Well, a lot going on with you guys. New defensive coordinator. Giants decided to move on from Shane Bowen. They installed Charlie Bullen as DC. Yep. We're doing this interview on Wednesday afternoon, so you've had a couple meetings with him. You've had a practice. What's been kind of the vibe that Charlie Bullen's given off so far as DC?
He's been giving off a very positive vibe. I think, it's been good for the team. The defense just, hearing a different voice, we're kind of just, everybody's bought in. I think with coaching changes, sometimes, things can kind of fall to the wayside. Everybody's kind of chaotic, but I think we've done a good job of keeping everybody on board and, everybody buying into, one goal. So I think it's going well.
How would you describe Charlie's personality?
I think he's just a ball coach, honestly. He's just like straightforward. It's nothing like out of the norm or strange or anything like that. He just, he loves football. He likes his, loves his teammates and his players even more, and he wants us to go out there and ball. So I think he exemplifies that through how he's talking to us, how he's, explaining what we want to do and whatnot. So, I think he just loves football.
Heading into week 13, you're not going to scrap a defense and start something over and do stuff crazy different, right? But do you expect some tweaks, maybe, frequency of doing certain things in certain down and distances? How many changes should fans expect from just the schematics of this when we get to Monday night?
In terms of my job, I'm going to be doing my job however effective I can for, what they asked me to do. So I don't expect anything for my job to switch or change or anything like that. I'm going to be doing exactly what they say. So whatever it may be, I'm going to go out there and do it.
You mentioned the guys kind of flowing with it. You get a change. Sometimes it can, mix things up a little bit. You went through this 2 weeks ago with Mike Kafka taking over as head coach, right? Mm-hmm. So was it a little easier to hit the ground running with this change given the huge change you had just 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, you could say that you're a little bit more comfortable with it, but honestly, like at the end of the day, we still got a job to do. So
of course,
whether it's the head coach, the DC, whatever the change may be, I still got to go out on Wednesday and practice hard, Tuesday and Thursday, and Friday, and go out on Sunday and, execute. So if you kind of like zoom out and see the big picture, yeah, things move around, schedule, whatnot. But if you're, focused in on what your job is and what you have to do during the week, not much should shift, really. Even
though the final results maybe haven't been what you guys would have liked, it still seems to me, at least rewatching the game on Monday every week, team's still playing hard. What is it about the personality of the locker room and the guys in that locker room that despite the losing streak, changes in coaches, coordinators, that you guys are still going out there and playing hard every game? Yeah,
I think it's a very positive, neutral self-talk environment, meaning, we're speaking about what's actually happening and dealing with the reality of the situation, not necessarily, getting down on ourselves or getting too high up when we have success or down when we don't have success. I think it's important to see, where we are falling short and, re-emphasize that aspect, and then, but also pat ourselves on the back for, playing good ball in certain aspects. And we don't have to, sometimes when you get into certain situations where, you don't have success, you start moving things that don't need to be shifted. And I think that we're not doing that. I think we're doing a good job of kind of just tightening the hatch even more, trying to figure it, where we're falling short at and emphasizing that specific area, not necessarily moving anything else around. So, we're playing good defense. And then, we just kind of fall short. So it's just a figure it out kind of game. I've been on the other side of these games where, you're working hard, you practice all week, you go into the game, and you might mess up some plays, but then you have good plays, and then it's kind of, on the line, and then you get the win. It's like, all right, cool, we got the win next week. You know what I mean? So it's any given Sunday in the league for sure.
All right, you talked about trying to fix up and shore up some of the areas that you've kind of come up short in. What do you think some of the aspects are that you guys have been trying to tweak or fix to try to improve on every week to try to change the result?
Yeah, I think that's definitely, I think for me personally, I think I have to, try to do my job at an even more effective rate, communicate more, during the week in terms of like my game prep, sharing like the little tidbits that I see, not that I haven't been, but, be more vocal with that. And just trying to bring people along, bring the the small group that I have that hears my voice, bring them along and making sure that we're on our P's and Q's.
Is there a secret sauce to closing games out as a defense? Obviously, if there was, you guys would have put the sauce on already. So, right. But is there an intangible aspect to it to closing out some of these games that you guys haven't been able to close out? Do you think?
I mean, there's definitely like a way to do it. I think teams that have been successful in the past. Like have a formula for how to close out games. It's hard to do, obviously. Obviously. It's hard to do. But every situation in the game is different, and no matter how much you work on it during the week, like, you have to be ready for the unknown. So I think just, handling the chaos is kind of when teams are successful in those situations, they handle chaos well.
The run defense, I'm sure another area that you guys have been trying to kind of shore up a little bit. And as a safety, one of your jobs, I'm sure, is to not allow that 10 or 15 yard run to become a 30 or 40 yard run, right? Mm-hmm. So what can that second and third level do? I'll throw the linebackers into the mix too, to try to prevent some of those explosive runs that got you a little bit last week?
I think just, slowing down a little bit, trusting the individual in front of you as well. I think that when people start to, make a play instead of just like, doing their job or doing what's being asked of them, they kind of get out of their frame and, they might take a misstep or, miss their hand placement or, be too fast trying to fit something when in reality, like, you can slow down. So I think everybody just kind of needs to like slow down and do your job on the play. And I think, when that happens and the communication is correct before pre-snap, then everybody will be in the right place.
You've had a bunch of rotating pieces in the secondary, whether corner, Paulson's been out, you were out for a while, then Newman was out, and now you got Belton back there with you. Deontay missed last week. What has it been like trying to keep that communication that you talked about before secure and making sure everyone's at the same page with so many moving pieces?
I think, we practice and we're in the meeting rooms all together, and so we're all communicating, whether it's, first team, second team, backup, whatnot. So when, those new guys come in, KB and JBC and, guys are stepping up, I don't think it's necessarily a fall off. I think it's just, handling the nerves of the situation of the play, So I think those guys are doing a great job. They're being asked to do a bunch of, abstract things and they're making plays while doing it. So I'm definitely proud of them.
You got your takeaway last week. You got the pick. Take us through that play and how you got it.
Yeah, we were just in like a strong side rotation defense. I was in the hook and I ended up like backing up a little bit because I kind of felt like they were trying to run a short route in front of me to like pull me forward and then run something behind me. And man, I've been running to the ball these last, I've been running to the ball the whole year, but these last couple of weeks in practice, I've been getting some picks, and so I just had a feeling that the ball was going to come to me. I had one in the Saints week, and it got taken away, and I knew that the ball was going to end up coming back to me. So yeah, the ball just popped in the air, tips and overthrows. I seen it, and I just went and got it. So it was nice. It felt good.
I know as a defense, you guys want to get more takeaways. How much of that is just getting as many guys to the ball as possible? Or maybe to strip a guy, somebody holds him up, next guy comes in and tries to punch it. Just having guys around the receiver, so if a ball gets deflected, you get a pick. How much is it just getting as many guys to the ball as possible?
It's really important. The ball finds energy. So the more you're flying in the ball, the more you're putting that good energy in the air, trying to get to the rock. I think the ball is just it'll pop out and then you're Johnny on the spot.
Can you believe you haven't had the bye week yet?
No, I had a week 14 bye.
Oh, did you?
Year. Yeah.
How is that different for a player? Do you have to pace yourself a little bit, or does it not really matter?
Towards the end of the, like, going into the bye week, like week 12, 11, 13, you kind of got to really like emphasize recovery and a lot more than you would earlier on if your process isn't as like detailed. I think sometimes you can forget to, it's late in the year, you're tired, you want to go home, but if you just take 15 minutes, get in the tubs, you'll feel a lot better. But yeah, the late bye, me personally, I like a late bye.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, because you go through the grind of like 14 straight games, and then you get that week off and you're just chilling, feel good, big recovery week. And then you come back and you got 4 more games left, and
it's a sprint, right?
It's done. Yeah, it's done. So it's good because like you can recover and then you're healthy through those 4 weeks because it's only a month, and you can't if you're nursing something late in the year, you can recover into the playoffs and whatnot. So yeah, no, I definitely like a week 14 bye. Last year I had a week 5 bye.
Early bye's bad, right?
Early byes, man. I'm not a fan of early byes. It's tough.
Every player's told me that they'd rather have the late bye than the early bye.
Definitely.
You got to the NFC East, yet here comes the Patriots again. You can't get rid of them. You got to play them again this year. Right. I know it's a new coach, new coordinator, everything's kind of different, but what can you bring from your knowledge of them previously to this game that can maybe help you out against what they're going to try to do to you offensively?
Just traditionally what the Patriots kind of stand for. Vrabel, he's a Patriot guy through and through. Even when he was on the Titans.
So was Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels, right? Same thing when he was on the Raiders. They all came from the Patriots. So their the philosophy and how they want to control the clock and kind of handle the flow of the game is very similar to obviously they learned from Bill and whatnot. So Coach Belichick. So yeah, just kind of a knowledge of what the Patriot way is. Not that I've been there, but from the outside looking in and, you know, playing them in years past. And some of the guys that are on the team I've played against a bunch of times. So it's really like an AFC East, like, melting pot on the team. Like Mac Hollins was on the Dolphins with me. And
That's right.
And then he was on the Bills, and then Diggs was on the Bills. And yeah, they got a couple of guys that, you know, have bounced around, but found their way on that team. And they're playing, you know, great ball right now. You know, with the guys that got there, I got some friends on that team that are playing well as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting game.
You mentioned Diggs. What are the challenges of dealing with him? He's their leading receiver this year.
Yeah, he's just a very savvy, very cunning, like, receiver. You know, he just finds the open space, will shut a route down if he sees zone, like, very good off the line. You know, he's an elite receiver, definitely. And then Boutte is that like Keyshawn's last name? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a deep threat. He's got great speed, good route runner. Pop Douglas, same thing, like a dangerous receiver. They got a lot of weapons on that team.
How about Hunter Henry, too?
Hunter Henry, yep. Hunter's been there for a long time. They got Austin Hooper, Stanford guy. Ramondre. They got Henderson in the back. Drake May. They got a lot of guys, man. Mac Holland. Mac is like just like a hard-nosed, dirty receiver. Not dirty as in the sense that like he's like, you know, doing cheap stuff, but like just like will get his nose dirty in the run game.
It's almost like they put a tight end and a wide receiver body with him, right?
Yeah. So, they got a lot of pieces on offense, and I think they do a great job with, you know, whatever with the system that they have with Coach McDaniels. So, I think it's going to be a fun game.
The final one on Drake May. He was a rookie last year. He's playing a lot better this year. Again, I thought he flashed last year, but he's playing. He's like second or third in the MVP odds or something crazy like that. What do you see from him that makes him a dangerous quarterback?
Just a lot of maturity from his, you know, point of view. Not really making stupid mistakes. Calm in the pocket, getting the ball out to his guys that he trusts, and if things kind of break, he's, you know, using his legs to get out of it. So he's doing a great job.
You still get pumped up for primetime games? A little bit extra?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit. Primetime games are always like a love-hate because like the game is so late, so you're like up all day and whatnot. But
it's good to get the bye after Monday night though, so you don't have the short week then with the game after, right?
That is cool. That is cool. So, but no, yeah, Monday night's cool, man. I played. I can't remember on Monday night last year. It was early. I think we played like the Titans or something. But I always enjoy, you know, primetime games, night games. Those are always cool.
What's your go-to Thanksgiving food?
You can say traditional. You know, mac and cheese, ham, turkey. My girlfriend actually loves to make. So like traditional for her, she's Puerto Rican and Haitian. So like paneer is like pork shoulder.
Yeah, I love pork shoulder.
Yeah, so she's cooking that up, stuffing, and I make the collard greens.
Nice.
You know, you gotta cook your greens and your turkey leg in chicken broth, not vinegar.
Yeah.
Not vinegar. So when you cook them, you braise them, whatnot. Cook them down in the chicken broth, adds a bunch of flavor, some cinnamon, some red pepper flakes, a bunch of that, all that. Not cinnamon, brown sugar. So.
Is that your go-to side? Is that the side you have to have on Thanksgiving?
I mean, candy yams, mac and cheese, and collard greens are like a must-have on Thanksgiving. I know some people go string beans, other than not what's it called?
Greens?
Yeah, greens, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Some people go string beans, but I'm a greens, mac and cheese, candy yams type of guy, so.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Jevón, have a great Thanksgiving, man.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Jevón Holland, Giants Huddle Podcast, brought to you by Citizens Official Bank of the Giants. We'll see you next time.